Hi, welcome. I'm Mary and I hook books. I crochet things inspired by the books I read. And I have been in such a slump in life, in reading. But you know who's there for me? Is Libby. And if you don't know, Libby is a online resource, an app that a lot of libraries use for their digital resources like audiobooks and ebooks and magazines, and you can take classes and all sorts of other fun stuff on there. So if you don't use your library, use your library, but also check it out because there's so much stuff on there that you can get for free and support your community. Anyway, thanks for letting me be on my soapbox there for a second. Libby is like, hey girl, you know that like 15 books you've had on hold that we told you were going to be a several month wait? They're all ready! All at the same time. So Libby is going to help me. I'm going to push through a couple of these books, and I am very much in my DNF era, so if they don't work for me, I didn't spend money on them. I don't feel the pressure to finish them. So our first one is going to be the Book of Accidents, and this was on a lot of people's best of the year lists, I think last year or year before, so I am really excited about this.
Tell them leave me alone. Swimming in my drip, 2 fishes in the pond. Tell them leave me alone.
We're gonna do this one the right way. Pisces. I don't wanna know your name, cause I might just feel your pain. Might just risk my life to keep you dry when it rains. Might just fall in love, a little hug can make me stay. Mystics make me soft, just like a moth to a flame. Show me where's the crowd and I'll be proud to just obey. And if you're not around, then I'll be proud to take your place. I'ma roll this loud while I go down and relocate. And I'ma take a bow and then throw thousands in your face. I'm a G, I'm the centerpiece, you can't settle me. I repeat, we're my enemies, tell them come and see. They retreat, I'm their water sign, sweep you off your feet. In these streets, I'm here all the time, how come we ain't meet? Got some thoughts up in my head, now I can't sleep cause they could.
In the Book of Accidents, owls are a recurring theme, and this is actually the second owl hat that I made. I made one and I used it as a prize in class the other day, and the student that won it loved it so much. It made my heart so happy. And that is really what I have to hold on to right now, is that I do make a tangible, immediate difference, a positive difference in people's lives, even if it's something small and other things that really are much bigger. That is what is keeping me as sane as I can, and what is really keeping me marching on right now. Anyway, the Book of Accidents. Our main character is this sweet, I think he's not old enough to drive, I think he's like 12, character, and hi Monster. He is definitely an empath, and yes, quick little rant. I hate when people say, oh, I'm an empath, you don't understand, as a either excuse to not learn emotional regulation skills, or as a way to manipulate others into making their emotions everyone else's problem. And that does not include people whose neurodivergence makes it genuinely more difficult to regulate your emotions. That is not what I'm talking about. People who have weaponized therapy speak, weaponized the alternative movement to be either lazy or manipulative to others. I hate it when they say they're an empath, because I am definitely an empath. And for me, it's really just being able to commiserate with other people's pain and with their joy. When other people are hurting, it makes you hurt, and you learn to set emotional boundaries with yourself and cognitively separate that is your pain and this is my life and experience. But you do have to really build those skills in yourself as an empath. But then when other people are happy, it is so easy to just bask in their joy and be happy for other people. And that is one of the great gifts of being an empath too, is that you have a part in the positive cycle of happiness. Anyway, that little rant over. I really think this is one of the best portrayals of someone who is really an empath, and he sees people's pain as different things. So like sometimes it's a snake, and sometimes it's fire, and sometimes it's poison, and he knows it's not his, but he can see it and feel it. And I think this is also a really great, I don't know if it's necessarily a great representation, but it's a great analogy for cycles, especially like cycles of family dysfunction and abuse. And I am on so many soapboxes in this video. The vast majority of people who are abused do not become abusers. They tend to get sucked into one abusive relationship after another because those are the patterns that they learned. So that is the real cycle of abuse. But sometimes people who are raised in highly dysfunctional environments think that that is normal, and they perpetuate that dysfunction. And I really liked how that was portrayed in this book. Also, I love that the dedication reads, "F it, this one's for me." And you get that feeling when an author really is enjoying what they're doing, when anyone is enjoying what they're doing. It just comes through. And this is, I would say, like a psychological horror. There is a little bit of, I don't know if it's sci-fi or fantasy elements in here, but it is very well done. Our protagonist's family moves to the protagonist's father's old house. And yeah, it's rough when you have to go home again, especially when home was not a really great place for you. And horror elements develop from there. We also have in the prologue a serial killer who is being executed, and he comes into the story and the legacy of that he left in this town. So this has been very rambly. Overall, really enjoyed this book. The last thing to burn is about a woman from Vietnam, and she has been trafficked. She now is being held captive by this man, and she had 17 possessions with her when she arrived in the country, and every time he gets upset with her, he burns one of them. So the last thing to burn is her last possession or her sense of self. And I did not feel emotionally manipulated, but I did feel that this was a very good representation of human trafficking. And my last job, we had to do human trafficking training every year. My current job, we have to do it every 2 years. So while I'm no expert, I have had a lot of classes on this. And I do feel like it was a pretty good representation of what does happen. And I really did like how relatable our character was. Like, what would you do in this kind of a situation? And why she doesn't try to escape anymore. So it turns into kind of like a thriller toward the last third or quarter, which was kind of a right turn, but I really did enjoy that part. And overall, I think this is a really good book. I was inspired by fire, and this is, I think it's called the Fire Flower Mosaic pattern. I'd never really done mosaic in the round, so this was a fun learning experience for me. And I did it twice, and then I sewed it together, and now it's a little hello. It is 80 plus degrees because it's Texas in spring, so I have to cool down my apartment. I am so sorry if you can hear the air conditioner, but hopefully with the new microphone, you're not supposed to be able to hear as much of that background noise. Fingers crossed. And my kitties are also like, Mom, you just got home. So I wanted to do a little mini haul. I never really do hauls because I'm not really into like the commercialism, but one of my students brought in this batch of yarn. She got me some pretty blue and orange and yellow and green, so I can make some fun spring themed prizes for our bingo pathology game. And look at this sweet card. It says, the world needs more people with your heart. Your kindness does a lot of good, and you should know it doesn't go unnoticed. I'm so thankful you're in my life. You're the best. I'm really glad I didn't read it at school, because I might have cried if I was actually like in front of them. Because my class is so sweet. My class is so great. We're almost done, but they are so great, and I am so lucky. My Darling Dreadful Thing is technically historical fiction, but it's a lot more on the horror end, and there's a really sweet sapphic element, so I really liked it a lot more than most historical fictions that I pick up and then usually swiftly put back down because they're not my thing. But I really enjoyed this one. The horror elements were a lot more forward. Our main character she's supposed to look like a small child. Her mother literally starves her so that she looks younger, but she is 21. And her mother uses her for seances, which are all a bunch of bunk, as I would say the majority or all seances were. They were super popular for a while, and this takes place in like 1945, I believe, 1940s, somewhere in there. And there is one real ghost, one spirit that does inhabit our main character. Read so fast, I didn't want to put it down. So I can enjoy historical fiction. Thirsty by Rachel Harris. I love her. I have enjoyed everything I've picked up from her so far. This one was not my favorite, but I still think it was really good. We have our protagonist, and it is her 36th birthday, and she is just so old. And that I do find annoying in basically all of her books, but it is also relatable to a lot of people, so I'm not going to fault her for it. And her husband gets her and her best friend a weekend away at this cabin in the woods, and yeah, from there we try to have a really fun birthday with just the girls, and of course the husband ruins some of it. But then, you know, vampires. So I really enjoyed this. These are probably some of my favorite vampires. Ilie is hilarious. I love it. And I feel like this author is very similar to John Scalzi in that they pretty much write the same character in every book. Like, a couple things are different, and I do appreciate how complex the character is that Rachel Harris writes. But I love it! Like, I love the stock character John Scalzi puts in basically every book, and I love the complex, very relatable woman character that Rachel does in her books. So I could see how people might see that as a negative, but I just find her characters at points annoying, but also at points just so relatable. And I feel her grasp on writing female friendship is just, it's so realistic. And it is our main character's birthday, and there are vampires, so I made this cute little gothic birthday cake, and it is actually a little gift box. Thank you for joining me this week. I think Libby kind of saved the day. I had some really great reads this week. I'm still just a little bit slumpy. I don't know what to crochet next. I am having a better time, but still kind of a hard time just sitting down to read. So let me know if you have any good slump buster suggestions. Use your local library. Please do the YouTubies, like, subscribe, share, comment, etc. And do something good for you. Get a good night's sleep. Go on a walk in nature. Get some exercise. Eat your vegetables. And as always, shoulders back, heads up, and breathe.